जय जिन
जय श्री नमो अर्हन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो वज्झायाणं नमो लोये सवसाहुणम् मोक्षमार्गस्य नेतारं वेतारं कर्मभूभृतां ज्ञातारं विश्वतत्त्वानां वन्दे तद्गुणलब्धये तत्त्वार्थसूत्रकर्तारं गृध्रपिच्छोपलक्षितं वन्दे गणीन्द्रसञ्जात उमा स्वामी मुनीश्वरम् उमा स्वामी मुनीश्वरम्. So we have gone quite far for Sat Tattvas, 7 fundamentals. We had studied in the morning's class about the psychic and material types of influx and bondage. Now we are about to talk, to start about the stoppage, the psychic and the material stoppage. Before that, there is a small topic that we need to cover. It's a very interesting topic. As soon as we start talking about it, you will get to know about it. I'm sharing my screen. Just have a look over this. We had talked about influx, material influx and psychic influx. So the arrival of karma is called as material influx, and that happens the moment that happens. Similarly, at the same time, the delusions, attachments and aversions also start to occur. So both of the things start at the same time, and hence they are called as influx, but their orientations are different, and so their names are material and psychic influx. In the same way, for bondage, bondage is again of two types. The types are not divided according to time. They are divided according to their orientations of soul and non-soul. The soul version of the bondage is called as psychic bondage. In this particular stage, non-consciousness, delusion, attachment, aversion, merit, demerit, all of them happen at the same time. Matlab, any one of them can happen, or all of them, you can say it's one and the same thing. Material bondage is settling of karmic matter. So the karmic matter starts settling with the soul. It starts having a relationship with it, and it happens on the account of psychic bondage, and hence that is mentioned in the definition of material bondage. Both of them are of two types, punya and pap. The influx also is of two types, punya and pap, and bondage is also of two types, punya and pap. So this is how influx and bondage become become four. That means auspicious influx, inauspicious influx, auspicious bondage and inauspicious bondage. So in that way, they are subdivided into four particular parts. Here we had seen, now we are going to talk about spiritual vision. Spiritual vision is the other name for Dravya Drishti. I would request all of you to please listen to this very carefully. If we are not able to understand this particular part, somewhere is not in our hands. So before starting to understand somewhere, we first of all need to understand the spiritual vision. Okay, so what is this spiritual vision, and why is it so important? I'm giving you a very small example. I would like to know, what do you see in the image that is in front of your screen?
A baseball player.
Good. What else can we see? Thank you, Asha ji. Anybody else can see anything else? Ranu ji?
He's
There's a
ready
small,
for
there's
the
a
pass.
blue patch, light sky blue. some.
Yes, yes, very good, very nice. What else, sir? You were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think he's ready for the ball. He is ready for the action.
Very nice, very nice. Prateek ji, what do you see?
The same thing. He's ready to bat and he's waiting for the ball.
Right. What is Manya ji's evaluation of this image?
There's an baseball player who's ready to play.
Okay, okay, fine. So everybody's coming to that. Fine. Now I have my versions of what we look from this image. What we can get is so in case if a hatter is looking at him, the hatter will say, I had given this hat to this person and he's using it so well. If we look at the designer, maybe the designer will say, oh, this is not very good. I had given a different set of clothes to him and he's wearing different ones. A shoemaker might see in him that
Different color of shoes.
a different people of different profession will look at this image and see it very differently. Now whatever he is doing, however he is doing, my evaluation says that a person who is Vitaragi is going to look at him only as a person, only just as a man. Beyond everything else, he is only a man. Are you getting what I'm saying? ये जो जितनी भी बातें हम कर रहे थे हैटर के नाम से, डिजाइनर के नाम से, कारपेंटर, डॉक्टर, जिमनास्ट, एनीबडी, ये सब उपाधियां हैं. They are all outer coverings. They are just coverings of this particular man. The real thing is only the man. Beyond all these things, he's just a man. If we understand that, we go beyond what we are looking in front of us. हम जो अपने सामने देख रहे हैं उससे बियॉन्ड जाने की बात है. In the same way, look at this particular example. In this example, whenever we look at the soul, in case if I look at Bahiratma, the soul part is not important, whereas the impurity part becomes important. Whenever I talk about Supreme Soul, the purity part comes into picture, minus impurity part. Whenever I talk about introvert, some purity, some impurity, this part is highlighted. But in this particular spiritual version, spiritual vision, we are trying to highlight this. We are trying to highlight this. I hope you're trying to understand what I'm trying to say. This is a soul which is beyond purity and impurity. If we talk about purity, it will become Supreme Soul or partly, introvert. If I'm going to talk about impurity, it will be called as Bahiratma, extrovert, or partly it can be called as, the introvert or Antaratma. But what about the soul? So if your intentions, if your lakshya, or how do I say, if your intention is the right thing for it, if your intention is towards this particular soul, which is beyond purity and impurity, only then you are really understanding who you are. Rest, all the other things are, external. They are all empirical. They are all outside of the soul. Am I clear, Praveen ji?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else has a question or something to say?
So, Jaijan and Sanyamji, Asha here.
Go ahead.
So, are we saying we are talking about a person as a person and not his profession, his dressing, his lifestyle?
Yes.
Right? Is that the concept?
Yes. The concept is looking somebody beyond things. Now, that was an example. Drishti ka vishay is not about looking at others. It is basically about looking at ourselves. So we look at ourselves as, you know, the holder of this good shirt, or the holder of this face, or the holder of these, you know, earphones, or we look at ourselves from the point of view of our parents, of our profession, of anything else. और उसी से हम attachment, aversion और delusion वाला काम करते रहते हैं. But this spiritual vision is telling us we are not this. अच्छा, या तो मैं ऐसा करता हूं कि मैं इस जिंदगी में बड़ा दुखी हूं. Else what do? We imagine of a world where everything is going to be pure, happy. If we have heard about Arhant, we start imagining that, oh, how good it is. I'd like to become Arhant. We talk about Siddha. We think about, you know, why should I not become Siddha? Siddha should be what I should become. But here, what we are talking about something which is beyond this pure or impure or any modification for that matter. Right?
Yes.
Ashayji, right?
Yes, Sayamji.
Okay, thank you. So this is what was a small thing. This topic is a very important and vast topic. If you go to Songarh and talk about it, if you go to even Jaipur and talk about it at specific places, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. This particular topic has a very vast, huge, you know, talk all over the world. Why? Because unless you understand this, samvar is not going to take place. The stoppage of karma, the realization and acceptance of the soul, of the pure nature of the soul, will never happen. So this topic is very, very, very important. This topic is known by Drishti Ka Vishay. I have vaguely translated that to spiritual vision. It's not I who has translated, somebody else has translated, I just copied. So this is called as Drishti Ka Vishay. I hope you are, you know, trying to understand what it is. It's a very important and a very easy to understand topic, but again, a very difficult to, you know, realize it in life to certain extents. Okay. So now we talk about the stoppage of influx. Again, the same thing. What is stoppage of influx? If I talk about the karmic version or the non-soul version or the material version of stoppage, what do I get to understand is the automatic stopping of the inflow of new karmas, fresh karmas. Easy to understand. It is the same as we had seen in the previous slide. The karma has stopped coming to the soul, and this is what is called as material stoppage. Easy to understand. Now, how does this happen? How does this happen? That means from the soul's point of view, how does this happen? So this happens when the auspicious and inauspicious emotions, thoughts, nature, you know, stops, as Ashay ji had told us in the morning. So, you know, again, there are two ways to look at this: the stoppage of auspicious and inauspicious emotions, and the other way is to what was that word? Generation of acceptance. Sorry, acceptance of the pure nature of the soul. So this is what is you know, mentioned in the psychic stoppage. The psychic stoppage is stoppage of auspicious and inauspicious emotions with the help of pure untouched feelings. So that is also covered. So both the things are covered here. One is the meritorious or demeritorious activities, natures, emotions are stopped, and the pure nature is accepted, touched, it is, you know, understood. That way also you can see the psychic stoppage. Am I clear? Manya ji, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Rohini ji, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So by far we have understood. Yes, please.
Doesn't influx mean, I'm sorry if I'm confused or if I'm incorrect. But doesn't influx mean ashraf?
Yes, asrav.
Ashraf, yes, sorry.
And
So
this is
we
stoppage of influx.
are stopping ashraf and entering into the samvarg mode, right?
Yes, samvar is the opposite of ashrav. Asrav is the opposite of samvar, or vice versa. And bandh and nirjara, bandh is the opposite of nirjara and moksha.
Okay, now because I was confused कि हम लोग संवर की बात कर रहे हैं लेकिन आशरफ का रेफरेंस क्यों दे रहे हैं?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you for the
basically,
clarification.
yes. Thank you, Ashish ji, for the question. And what he meant was, basically, we are stopping something. And we are stopping something, that means it was incoming, only then we would stop a particular thing. So the incoming is influx and the stopping is samvar, is the stoppage. So both the things are deeply interrelated, and this is what we mean by stoppage of influx. The next is partial release of bondage, matlab nirjara. Now this nirjara is also of two types: dravya nirjara and bhav nirjara. Two types of shedding. Now among these two types of shedding, you can see this very clearly, that in the material shedding there is no mention of the psychic shedding. Okay? Only the mention is about automatic partial shedding of karmic matter. Now the word automatic is very important. Why? Because this automatic is telling us this. This automatic is telling us this. How is this going to happen automatically? It is only going to happen automatically when we understand the strength of the sentient soul. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I'm trying to say that there are two versions of nirjara. The first version is the material version and the second version is the psychic version. In the previous slides, we had seen that the psychic version of nirjara, what was that? That was, what was the word there? Acceptance.
The stoppage of influx, isn't it?
No, not in the exact previous slide, but on those sides where we had talked about the material and the
yes. It was the development.
Yeah, true. It was the development of it was
of
this
pure nature. Development of pure nature.
The development of pure nature. So this development of pure nature has carry forwarded, and it has come to this particular stage. Now the question is, how does karma go from our body, or how does karma go from our soul? There are two ways to understand it. One is we are the ones who are imposing them to go away. And the second version says we are attached to something else other than karma, and so these are left behind. So whatever is left behind goes away from us. Like it happens with relations. Only those relations stick to you with whom you nurture. वो रिश्ते हमेशा आपके साथ होते हैं जिनको आप पालते हो, पोसते हो, गिफ्ट्स देते हो, उनको फोन लगाते हो, आप उनसे बात करते हो. लेकिन वो रिलेशंस आपके साथ बिल्कुल छोड़ करके चले जाते हैं जिन पर आप ध्यान नहीं देते हो. मतलब आपका ध्यान कहीं और है. बिल्कुल वैसी ही बात यहाँ पर है. यदि आपका ध्यान अपनी आत्मा की तरफ चला गया है तो अपने आप द्रव्य कर्म आपसे दूर होते चले जाएंगे. तो जितना जितना आप अपनी आत्मा के समीप जाते जाओगे उतना उतना कर्म आपसे दूर भागते जाएंगे. इसका मतलब कर्मों को भगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. भले ही भगाने वाला मैं ही हूं, क्योंकि मैंने उन पर से अपना ध्यान हटा दिया है. लेकिन भगाने वाला मैं होने पर भी मैं उन्हें पकड़ पकड़ के नहीं भगाता हूं. मैं अपना ध्यान बदल लेता हूं तो अपने आप वे भाग जाते हैं. So this is called as automatic. Akshay, Labdhi, is automatic word clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Who else should I ask? Ranuji, is automatic clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Do I
So
have to
can you
repeat
repeat
somebody?
the?
Yes.
Yeah. Please, can you repeat? I'm not still
Sure,
100%
sure.
clear.
I think it was Kunalji. Huh.
No, I'm Pratik.
Acha, sorry, Pratik.
No.
What I mean to say is, again, we'll go from the scratch. You know Nirjara, right? The material version of Nirjara is Karmo ka ek desh khirna. The departing of karma is called as Dravya Nirjara. Now, what is Bhav Nirjara? Bhav Nirjara is the development of the soul's nature, the development of the pure soul of the nature. What am I saying? Development of the nature's pure attributes, pure soul's pure nature. That is what I'm trying to say. So the development of of the soul's pure nature, this happens when you engross yourself in that sentient soul. The karma will not go away unless you stop looking at it. If you keep on looking at it, from looking at it, I mean that if you keep on thinking that I have to, get away from karma, I have to get away from karma, I have to get away from karma, we are basically going towards karma. Because in some or the other way, we are thinking about karma only. What is the best way to stop thinking about karma is to start thinking about something more important. And definitely, when karma is not Jeev, karma is only Pudgal. If you understand that, you will start going near to the soul, near to the sentient soul, and hence you will understand that this process of shedding of karma happens only when you stop looking at it. It happens automatically. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So this is how we understood that the partial release of bondage takes place automatically. What happens automatically is the shedding of karmic matter. This is called as material shedding. How does this happen? So this happens when we have the strength of the sentient soul. It helps us to partially shed the impurities from ourselves and go to the pure nature's abode, to the pure nature's shelter. This is what is, Drav and Bhav, material and psychic Nirjara. In the end, we are coming to liberation. What is liberation? So liberation is completely annihilation of the annihilation or destruction of the karmic matter. This is called as Dravya Moksha, complete destruction of the karmic matter. This is called as material liberation. And how does this happen? When we do not have any karma, this state can only be achieved when we go completely near to our pure and perfect state of the soul. So when we completely take abode of this this soul, the emergence happens. The emergence, that means the soul emergences from this completely worldly activities, and he reaches, he she whatever, by he she, the soul reaches to the psychic liberation. So this is what is called as psychic liberation, where complete annihilation of the impure state takes place and the emergence of the completely pure and perfect state of the soul takes place. This is called as psychic liberation. So to sum up, I'll just mark what is most important in this. So material liberation is destruction of all karmic matter. And what is psychic liberation? Psychic liberation is annihilation of impure state, or in other words, completely pure and perfect state of the soul takes place This is what is called as bhav moksha or psychic liberation. Now, from all this, what did we understand? Now, I'm asking you one question each. You have to tell me that whatever I'm talking about is desirable or not desirable. ठीक है? क्या हमारे लिए अच्छा है जिसको हम उपादेय कहते हैं, और क्या हमारे लिए अच्छा नहीं है जिसे हम हेय कहते हैं, मतलब नॉन डिजायरेबल. So desirable and non-desirable, there are two words. Now you have to tell me from all these 5 modifications which one of them is desirable and which one of them is not desirable. ठीक है? I'll go one after the other. Okay. First I will ask yes, Kunal ji. Kunal ji. Jai Jinendra. Influx is desirable or non-desirable?
It is non-desirable.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Swasti, bondage is desirable or non-desirable?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
It's non-desirable.
Very good. Thank you. Next, Yash. Jai Jinendra. Yash, samvar is desirable or non-desirable?
Desirable.
Acha, is it completely desirable?
No.
Why?
It's desirable.
Very good, very good. Acha, next is Praveen ji. Nirjara is partially desirable, non-desirable, or desirable?
It's partially desirable.
Wonderful. So what is completely desirable?
Jeev.
Matlab, we were talking about the 5 modification moksha, but
Moksha.
wonderful. Thank you very much for giving me a small introduction for my next slide. Okay. So basically, all these 5 are only modifications. 5 modifications, you talked about desirability and undesirability, but then the basic desirable aspect is not in any one of these 5. Like we talked about stoppage, shedding, and liberation. All these 3 of them, in all these 3 of them, the most desirable was the pure nature of the soul. Hence, the most important desirable aspect from the from all these all these 5 or all these 7 is the soul, which is mentioned here. The soul is the refuge desirable. Refuge desirable matlab आश्रय लेने लायक desirable. We should get the abode of it. इसका shelter करना चाहिए, इसका आश्रय लेना चाहिए. इसका आश्रय लेने से ही संवर निर्जरा मोक्ष पैदा होंगे. इसलिए संवर निर्जरा मोक्ष कुछ नहीं है, वो सब जीव ही है. यदि आपने जीव के शुद्ध स्वभाव को समझ लिया तो संवर निर्जरा मोक्ष नहीं होंगे. So this is what is called as soul. But there is another very important question. The question is ajiv or non-soul desirable or undesirable? If not desirable, why? If not undesirable, why? I leave this question to Akshay, Labdhi, or any one of them.
Can you please repeat the question once?
My question is, non-soul is desirable or non-desirable? If not desirable, why? If not non-desirable, why?
Non-soul is partially desirable because
Sorry for the interruption.
Yes.
Actually, non-soul is neither desirable nor desirable because we can't get anything by knowing non-soul. Plus, we want a distinction between soul and non-soul. So, we can't say it's desirable or non-desirable.
Thank you, Labdhi. Thank you very much. The slide. Thank you. So this is basically what we were talking about. Now let's have a look over the slide once again. Knowable, abdicable, and desirable. There are three aspects. Okay. So influx and bondage is abdicable. Abdicable matlab non-desirable. Stoppage and shedding are partially desirable. Partially desirable matlab थोड़े समय के लिए वो उपादेय हैं. That means they have a sense of acquirability. Oh, sorry. There's a spelling mistake. Liberation is completely desirable, but partially desirable or completely desirable takes place when you take refuge to the soul. Hence, the soul is the highest amount of desirable aspect. And then what remains is the non-soul. The non-soul is only knowable. तो ये तीन चीजें हैं. इसको हिंदी में हम क्या कहते हैं? हेय, ज्ञेय and उपादेय. हेय, ज्ञेय and उपादेय. So non-soul is only ज्ञेय. That means उसमें जीव है ही नहीं, तो अब वो क्या है? वो हमारे लिए सिर्फ जानने की वस्तु है. सिर्फ जानने की वस्तु है. अभी तक जब हमने उसे जानने लायक नहीं माना था और अपना ही माना था, तभी तो इन्फ्लक्स और बॉन्डेज हो रहे थे. इसीलिए इन्फ्लक्स और बॉन्डेज जो है वो हेय है, अजीब हेय नहीं है. ठीक है. अजीब सिर्फ ज्ञेय है, वो बिल्कुल भी हेय नहीं है. हेय होगा तो हमें छोड़ना पड़ेगा उसको. हमको एक एक को ना पकड़ पकड़ के गेयों को बाहर भगाना पड़ेगा इस दुनिया में से. बट गेयों को भगाने की जरूरत नहीं है, उनसे अपनी दृष्टि को हटाने की जरूरत है. इसीलिए जब उन पर दृष्टि होती है तो आश्रव और बंध होते हैं. जब उन पर से दृष्टि थोड़ी हटती है तो इसे संवर और निर्जरा कहते हैं. जब वो पूरी तरीके से चली जाती है तो उसे हम मोक्ष कहते हैं. इस प्रकार से वी अंडरस्टूड व्हाट दीज 7 तत्वास आर and why are these so important to understand. We had started this complete journey. We had started this complete journey from this. We basically talked about everybody wants happiness, and that happiness is nothing but liberation. If you understand liberation, you will also understand samvar and nirjara. When you understand this stoppage and shedding, what will happen? The misery, the fear will absolutely go away. And this is what is the intention of every human being. Just a second. Acha, fine. They were not having a question. I think some trouble in the house. Okay. So basically, how are we going to get the happiness? So we are going to get the happiness by the right knowledge and the right faith in the essential 7 tattvas. And by all this, we understand that why is the essential word put to it? The reason is to gain happiness and to get out of misery. This is how I conclude this chapter. If you have any questions, I have a minute for you. And then I'm going to ask you few questions. So get ready for that. If you have a question, please raise your hand or something, or you can start, the mic also. Yes, Rohini ji.
Sir, I actually have the question. Could you please show the slide of Nirjara once?
Okay, sure. Here we go.
Sir, I did not understand the Bhav Nirjara part.
Okay. Fine. Bhav Nirjara, what was Bhav Nirjara in those previous slides where we had seen the versions? It said that the development of the pure nature of the soul. Now, development word is a very abstract word. Development means there are two things going on. One is the impure state, and we are demotivating it so that it goes away, and we are developing the stage where the pure nature of the soul could be understood. So there are two ways to look at bhav nirjara. One, bhav nirjara is अशुद्ध भावों का आत्मा से दूर जाना या उनका नष्ट होना. दूसरा, शुद्ध भावों का आत्मा में प्रवेश होना या शुद्ध भावों की वृद्धि होना. So this particular definition talks about two things. The first thing what it talks about is the partial shedding of the impurity. इसको हम कहेंगे शुभाशुभ भावों का रुक जाना. ये तो था संवर. शुभाशुभ भावों का, थोड़े शुभाशुभ भावों का नष्ट हो जाना, इसे भी हम निर्जरा कहेंगे. अब ये होगा किसकी शक्ति से? तो ये होगा with the strength of the sentient soul. मतलब शुद्ध आत्मा के डेवलपमेंट से. मतलब शुद्ध आत्मा का क्या डेवलपमेंट होगा? वो तो ऑलरेडी डेवलप्ड स्टेट होता है. हमारा शुद्ध आत्मा को शुद्ध स्वीकार करने रूप डेवलपमेंट. अभी समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this is how we understood that all whatever we are talking about is all basically a reference. And once we understand that reference, that part of the tattva gets clarified. Now I'd request all of you to think for some time that what if we, how am I going to frame the question? My question is, think of something which we need to understand before getting liberation, and which is not there in these 5 modifications. I'll repeat my question. My question is, lie down for some time and just think about this, that is there anything else important still remaining that should be covered in the presentation of these 5 tattvas? And if you think there's something remains, do let me know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And if there is nothing, then enjoy this and realize this particular part, that everything in this world is covered in this 7 tattvas. And once we understand that particular thing, we can definitely realize our souls and reach to the path. I'm asking you to think, because philosophically speaking, the faith comes from the philosophy. सम्यक श्रद्धान का दूसरा नाम सम्यक दर्शन है. ये दर्शन देखना नहीं है, ये दर्शन का नाम फिलोसॉफी है. सो ये फिलोसॉफी स्टार्ट होती है श्रद्धान से. किसी भी तरीके का श्रद्धान, विश्वास, प्रतीति, कुछ भी कह सकते हैं आप उसको. So my basic point of view is to make you a philosopher for some time, and think about this, that out of these 7 tattvas, is there anything else still discussable, still thinkable, and what remains out of these 5 tattvas? Fine, so we are done with this. Now I'm asking you very quick questions from this, and I hope you're ready to answer those questions to me. Fine, my first question, I'd request everybody to, why should I ask all of you? Please unmute yourself. I'm asking a question, I'm speaking a name, and you have to answer the question. Okay. Akshay Labdhi, how many essential fundamentals are there?
7.
How many in, what is that? In essential, non-essential fundamentals are there?
5.
5.
अरे
6.
एक भी नहीं है,
0.
सारे essential ही है. एक भी नॉन एसेंशियल नहीं है. अच्छा फाइन. आशय जी, टेल मी दोस टू, tell me those 2 fundamentals which are abdicable, non-desirable, and why?